Yulin lived alone in Lunar Station Theta. He had been there for 7 years, far away from Earth, far away from noise, people, and war. The station sat on the dark side of the moon, built deep in the rock, protected from solar radiation. There were no windows, only screens, no birds, no wind, only the soft hum of machines and the echo of his own footsteps. He used to be a maintenance officer. Once, he had a team. They fixed damaged satellites, refueled orbital stations, and kept space traffic running. But one day, a solar flare hit while they were outside, and Yulin was the only one who made it back inside. He sent a signal for help, but it arrived too late. After that, he asked for reassignment. He told the agency he wanted to be alone. They agreed. Theta Station had been empty since the early Mars projects ended. Now, it was his home. Jan followed. A routine. Every day he checked the oxygen systems, water recyclers, and solar panels. He grew vegetables in a small greenhouse and used a mining drone to collect minerals from the lunar surface. His only company was an old robot named Clicker, who spoke in short beeps and moved like an injured crab. Sometimes, Yulin talked to the moon. Sometimes, he played old songs through the speakers and danced alone in the hallway. But most of the time, he sat in silence, eating quietly and looking at old photos of Earth. He didn't miss people. At least, that's what he told himself. Then one evening, something strange happened. Yulin was checking the outer sensors. The radar had been off for months. Dust storms damaged the antenna long ago, and he never bothered fixing it. But now, it was active. A red light blinked on the console. Unknown movement detected. Large shapes in low orbit. No sound. No heat signature. He stared at the screen. That has to be a glitch, he whispered. He tapped a few keys. The signal was weak, but still there. 10 large objects were moving slowly above the station. Their motion was smooth, not like falling rocks or broken satellites. Something or someone was flying. He stepped outside into the airlock. His suit was ready. The door opened, and he walked out onto the cold, dusty surface of the moon. Above him, space was black and endless. Earth glowed in the distance, soft blue with swirling white clouds. And then he saw them. Winged shapes floated above, their bodies glowing faintly with soft colors. Some were red, some green, some silver. They weren't ships. They moved like living things. They turned slowly, scanning the ground, searching. Yulin froze. He had read many reports during his training, rumors of strange creatures spotted near deep space colonies, but none of them looked like this. He reached for his helmet radio. Clicker. Are you seeing this? Inside the station, Clicker made a confused beep. Suddenly, one of the creatures moved lower. It flew down gently, landing on a flat spot near the airlock. It was massive, longer than a transport shuttle, with scales like metal and eyes that glowed like lanterns. The others followed, landing in a half circle around the station. Jan backed away slowly. Then, the lead creature stepped forward and tapped something on its chest. A strange spark flickered, and a voice came through his suit radio. Peace. We seek shelter. The voice was not human, but it was calm. Yulin didn't move. The creature tried again. We are not enemies. We are lost. Our ship is broken. We cannot survive the cold alone. Yulin's heart raced. He looked at the creature more closely. It had sharp wings and strong claws, but its posture was tired. Its scales were scratched and burned. Behind it, the others looked weak, like they hadn't eaten in a long time. You're not here to hurt me? Yulin asked. No, the creature said. We are called Skyborn. We were bred for war, but we ran. Now we wander. We saw your light. We came with hope. Yulin looked around. The lunar surface was silent. The stars watched from above. He could have said no. He could have called Earth and reported alien contact. But Earth was far away. The station was his, and the creatures in front of him looked more lost than dangerous. Stay outside, he said slowly. I'll open the garage bay. It's not warm, but it's better than the surface. The creature bowed its head. Thank you. Yulin turned and walked back to the airlock. His hands were shaking. Inside, He rushed to the main console and unlocked the garage gate. The large outer doors hissed open. The dragons, or whatever they were, moved carefully inside. Their wings folded tightly. One of them limped, another helped it walk. Clicker beeped wildly as they passed through the corridor. "I know," Yulin muttered. "I didn't plan this either." He watched as the creatures settled in the garage. They formed a circle, their tails wrapped around each other. Slowly, their glowing scales dimmed. They were resting. Elian leaned against the wall, breathing hard. For 7 years, nothing had changed. Now, in one night, he had 10 alien dragons sleeping in his station. "I must be losing my mind," he said. But deep inside, past the fear and confusion, he felt something strange, a spark, a quiet warmth that he hadn't felt in years. He wasn't alone anymore. Yulin didn't sleep that night. He sat at the control station, watching the garage cameras. The 10 dragons were quiet. Some rested on their sides, tails curled. Others sat upright, watching their surroundings. Their glowing scales pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. The station's heat was barely enough for humans. He had no idea if it was enough for creatures. Like them, he made a pot of warm soup and sat with Clicker at the small kitchen table. The robot tapped its claw gently, blinking a yellow light. "Yes, I know this is dangerous," Yulin said, "but they didn't come here to attack. They asked for help." Clicker beeped once, then powered down for charging. Elian sipped his soup, thinking about the leader, the one who spoke through the radio. Its voice had no anger, only weariness and hope. That part stayed in his mind. He got up and walked down the corridor to the garage. The door was sealed, but he could enter with a code. He hesitated for a few seconds, then typed it in. The door opened slowly. Warm air met him. The dragons had created their own heat. He stepped inside. The lights overhead flickered slightly, reacting to the unusual energy field around them. The leader stood up as he entered. It was taller than the others and had bright silver scales with blue lines running along its body. It took a few steps forward and stopped a safe distance away. "I am Mira," it said, its voice coming from a small device on its chest. Jan nodded. "I'm Yulin. This is my station. Or at least, it was. Seems like I've got guests now." Mira tilted her head. "We did not plan to land. We lost control of our guidance field. Our vessel broke apart above your moon. We searched for shelter and found your light." Yulin looked around. "Are any of you injured?" Mira stepped aside. One of the dragons in the back limped forward slightly. A large crack ran along its side, and its wing was folded in. It looked weak. Another dragon, smaller and green-scaled, supported it gently. "We are healing," Mira said. "But time moves quickly on this world. In the cold, it eats us." Yulin walked over to a control panel near the wall. "I can boost the heat in this section. It'll drain more power from the solar reserves, but it should help you recover." "You would do this for us?" Mira asked. "I already let you in," Yulin said with a shrug. "Might as well do the rest." Mira's chest device blinked once. She turned to the others and spoke in a language Yulin didn't understand. Their heads lifted. They made low, quiet sounds almost like music. Not loud, not threatening. It felt like a thank. Jan stared, surprised. "You sing?" Mira faced him again. "It is our way. Sound carries feeling. In our world, words were not enough." He paused. "Where's your world?" Mira's glowing eyes dimmed. "Far, too far. Now, we escaped a place that once called us weapons. We did not wish to destroy anymore. So we ran. Across stars, through broken gates. Many of us lost their wings." Yulin looked around at the others. Some looked young, some looked older. All of them seemed tired. "You're not just dragons," he said quietly. "You're survivors." Mira lowered her head. "Yes." For a while, silence filled the room. The only sound was the soft hum of the station. Then Yulin spoke again. "Your tech, it's more advanced than ours. That translator, the armor on your skin, where did you get it?" "We were born with it," Mira said. "Our bodies are grown with the metal. We do not build ships like yours. We fly in groups. but to survive between stars. We crafted tools like this. She tapped the small device on her chest. Can I study it? Yulin asked. Only if you allow. Mira looked to the others. They exchanged glances, then nodded slowly. You may learn, she said. But you must not send our words to your world, not yet. I understand, Yulin replied. He stepped closer and examined the translator. It looked simple on the outside, but his train I could see that the inside held a layered energy core, far beyond human technology. No wonder their voices came through so clearly. I'll bring some food, he said. I don't know if you eat what I eat, but we can try something safe. Mira nodded. We feed on heat and light, but some of us are learning new ways. Yulin chuckled. Then I'll warm up some solar chips and see who's brave enough. He left the garage and walked back toward the kitchen. He felt different now. His steps were lighter, his thoughts faster. It had been years since he had spoken with anyone. Now he was having conversations with dragon refugees. Back in the kitchen, he prepared the chip's simple plant-based energy squares cooked in heat pods. He returned to the garage, placed the tray on the floor, and waited. One of the smaller dragons sniffed the tray. Its tongue flicked out. Then, to Julin's surprise, it took a careful bite. The others watched. A few stepped forward and tried as well. Mira turned toward him. We will remember this kindness. I'm just doing what anyone should, Yulin said. She looked at him for a moment. No, not everyone would. The room felt warmer now, not just because of the dragons. Yulin looked at them not as monsters or strange visitors but as guests, survivors, beings who had chosen peace over war, and for some reason, they had chosen his station as their shelter. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but for now, the moon was no longer silent, and Yulin, after years of emptiness, no longer felt alone. The next few days passed like a dream. Yulin couldn't believe what was happening. The dragon Skyborn, as they called themselves, were not only polite guests, but also curious and helpful. They began exploring the station slowly, always asking before touching anything. They moved carefully in narrow hallways and avoided the areas Yulin told them were sensitive or unsafe. Mira, the leader, stayed in contact with Yulin through the small voice device on her chest. She explained things in short, clear sentences. Whenever Yulin asked a question, she answered with respect, sometimes even with a strange sense of humor. One afternoon, Yulin found two of the younger dragons in the greenhouse, staring at the plants. Their eyes glowed brighter near the sunlight. Tubes. One of them, a dragon with golden scales, gently poked a tomato vine with its claw. Yulin smiled. That's food, not a toy. The golden dragon tilted its head. It smells sweet. We have never seen this kind of growth before. Yulin picked a ripe tomato and held it out. The dragon leaned down and sniffed, then took a small bite. Its eyes widened. This is warm inside. Yulin laughed softly. You should try soup next. The Skyborn were learning quickly. They helped fix broken ceiling panels and damaged pipes in the storage wing. One of them, with bright green wings, even repaired an old mining drone by combining its body with a piece of their fallen ship. Now the drone moved faster and worked more smoothly than ever before. But not everything was peaceful. On the fourth night after their arrival, something strange happened. The station's power began to drop suddenly. Yulin checked the systems and saw that the main solar reserve was losing energy, faster than it should. At first, he thought one of the Skyborn was using too much power for healing, but Mira assured him that wasn't the case. Then the temperature dropped out in less than 1 hour. The station's outer walls turned colder than normal. The airlock sensors froze up. Even inside, frost formed along the hallway corners. Yulin ran to the console and checked the moon's surface data. A rare lunar cold wave had passed into their sector's sudden shift in space dust, and radiation that caused deep freezes lasting. Ours. I've never seen one this strong, Yulin said, breathing into his hands. Mira stood beside him. We know this cold. It follows us. It is not natural. What do you mean? Yulin asked. Mira looked toward the garage. Where we flee, something follows. It is not alive. but it wants to end life. The cold is part of it. Yulin stared. At the screen, the station's heaters were failing. Pipes were beginning to freeze. The greenhouse would die in less than 3 hours if the oxygen system froze. They'd all be in danger. I need to redirect power, Yulin said. I can shut down the eastern wing, but it might not be enough. We will help, Mira said before Yulin could reply. She stepped back into the hallway and roared a deep, low sound that echoed through the station. Not a roar of fear or attack, but a signal. The other Skyborn quickly gathered in the main chamber. Their glowing scales brightened. Then, together, they began to form a circle. What are they doing? Yulin whispered. Clicker beeped in confusion beside him. Mira stepped into the center of the circle. The dragons touched tails and lowered their wings. Their bodies began to glow with a soft red light. The heat level in the room started to rise. They are forming a shield. Mira said, an old trick. We combine our body heat and energy. Enough to hold off the cold if we do it together. Yulin was amazed. You can generate that much warmth. Yes, she said, but not for long. It will drain us. You must fix the systems while we hold the cold back. Yulin nodded quickly and ran back to the control room. He rerouted power from the mining drone and shut down lights in unused areas. The generator struggled, but he managed to restart the backup heater. Warmth slowly began to return to the greenhouse. The oxygen levels steadied. He returned to the chamber and saw the Skyborn still glowing. Sweat ran down his neck despite the cold. Their circle pulsed with firelight, keeping the frost back. Mira looked at him. Her voice slower now. Is it working? Yes, Yulin said. You bought me time. Everything's holding for now. She smiled faintly. Good. Then we rest. The circle broke gently. The dragons slumped to the ground. Tired but alive. Their bodies cooled, and their scales dimmed. Yulin rushed forward. Are you all right? We will recover, Mira said. It is not the first time we have done this, but each time it grows harder. Yulin sat beside her. That cold wasn't natural, was it? No, she replied. It is part of the machine hunger. The force that hunts us, it does not come with fire or ships. It comes with silence, with emptiness. Yulin thought for a moment. Why would something want to destroy you? Because we left, she said. Because we chose not to obey. That night, Yulin stayed awake again. He watched the stars. Through the station's external cams, the sky looked peaceful, but now he knew better. Somewhere out there, something was watching, something that wanted the Skyborn gone. But Yulin had made a decision. He would not let them freeze. He would not let them fall. He wasn't just a lone man on the moon anymore. He was their shelter. The cold wave passed after 8 long hours. The station slowly returned to normal temperature. The heaters hummed again, and the frost on the walls melted. Yulin moved through the corridors, checking each section. Pipes had held, the greenhouse survived, and the oxygen level was stable. He found the Skyborn resting in the garage. Most of them slept in tight circles. Their bodies dimmed after the long effort. Mira was still awake, sitting near the power coils. Her wings were folded close to her sides. Yulin approached her with a warm pack in his hand. You should rest too. I will, Mira said quietly, but I wanted to watch the stars. They remind me of home. Yulin nodded and sat beside her. I used to look up at them from Earth. Now I look up from the moon. It's strange. The sky looks the same, but everything feels different. They sat in silence for a few moments. Then the station console beeped. Jan stood quickly and went to check it. A faint signal blinked on the main screen. Incoming transmission. Origin. Earth. Satcom. Jan stared. Earth hadn't contacted Lunar Station Theta in years. It was considered abandoned. But the signal was real. He opened the message. A basic data packet showed images from an Earth-based telescope. The images showed the sky above the moon, 10 glowing shapes flying in orbit. The last part of the message was a warning. Possible alien activity confirmed. Recon ship launched, ETA, for days. Prepare for inspection. Jan felt the air leave his chest. Earth knew something was up. They had seen the Skyborn from orbit, and now they were sending a team. Mira walked over, sensing his worry. What has happened? They saw you, Yulin said slowly. They saw your group in orbit. Earth is sending a ship to check the station. Mira was quiet. Then she asked, will they harm us? Yulin didn't answer right away. I don't know. They might be afraid. They might think you're a threat. We are not, she said. I know that. But they don't. Yulin paced the room. His mind raced. He couldn't lie to Earth Command. But if he told the truth without warning, they might send weapons. They might take the dragons away. They might not even give them a chance to speak. We have to hide you, he said. Mira shook her head. We will not run. Yulin looked at her, confused. Then what? We will talk, she said, but not with fear. You said your people value knowledge. Then let us offer knowledge. Yulin frowned. They're not coming to ask questions. They're coming to secure the site. That usually means weapons. Mira placed a claw gently on the wall. A soft blue light spread from her touch. Our kind once guarded the skybound path, a road of stars, hidden through wormholes. We protected it for thousands of years. But when war came, we refused to fight. We were hunted, scattered. Our knowledge was lost. She turned to Yulin. We offer it to you. He blinked. Why me? Because you listened, she said. You gave us warmth when the universe gave us cold. We trust you. Yulin took a deep breath. If you want to share something that powerful, I need to prepare. I'll need data, evidence, something I can show them when they arrive. You will have it, Mira said. Over the next 2 days, Yulin and the Skyborn worked together. Mira gave him access to her internal systems maps, images, and recordings of the Skybound path. The data was unlike anything in Earth's records. It showed star routes bending through strange gates, paths that could move ships across light years. In seconds, Jan backed up everything into a secure data core. He created a presentation Earth Command couldn't ignore. At the same time, he hid the Skyborn behind the reactor shield chamber. That section of the station was thick with radiation shielding. Scanners wouldn't detect them easily there. Clicker, still unsure about the plan, kept scanning the air vents nervously. It'll be fine, Yulin said. I just need time to talk before they start searching. The day before the ship's arrival, Yulin stood with Mira one last time. If things go wrong, he said, I'll stall them. You stay hidden. Don't reveal yourselves until I say it's safe. Mira nodded. And if they come with fire, then I'll make sure they see truth before they burn trust. She placed her forehead against his, a gesture of thanks. You are not just a man of machines, she said. You are a flame in the dark. Yulin smiled. Let's hope that's enough. The next morning, the recon ship landed near the crater edge. Dust rose as the ship's legs touched the ground. A team of 6 stepped out, wearing black and gray suits. Each carried a scanner, and one had a rifle strapped to his back. The leader, a sharp-eyed woman with short hair, walked toward Yulin. Commander Reese, she said. We're here for a site check. Lunar Station Theta was flagged after an energy surge and visual sightings. Yulin kept calm. I've been running this station alone for 7 years. Some equipment's still unstable. Maybe you saw a flare or old debris. Reese didn't smile. We'll decide that. Open all systems for scan. Yulin nodded and led them inside. He kept them busy with harmless data, showing them the greenhouse, mining systems, and old records. But Reese kept asking sharp questions. Why did your heat usage double 3 days ago? Cold wave, Yulin answered. They still happen. Strange signals in the garage. What's in there? Old bots and spare parts. Reese paused. We'll check it last. Yulin felt his chest tighten. He still needed more time. Reese looked at him carefully. You're hiding something. Before he could answer, a soft voice came from behind them. She's not wrong. Yulin turned. Tara, the youngest officer in the group, had stepped away from the team. She was standing near the hallway to the reactor shield chamber. Her hand was on the wall, feeling the warmth. I've read reports, she said. This heat isn't from broken wires. Reese stepped toward her. What are you suggesting? There's something alive in there. Tara said. Jale and looked at her. She wasn't angry. She was curious. And then he made a choice. Wait, he said. before you scan that section. You need to see something. Yulin stood before the reactor shield chamber, his heart pounding. The 6 Earth officers waited behind him. Cautious and alert, Tara's eyes held a mixture of fear and wonder. The rest of the team gripped their scanners and weapons tightly. Yulin took a deep breath and swiped his card to open the heavy door. The shield hummed softly as the gate slid open, revealing a large chamber bathed in warm, soft light inside. The 10 Skyborn dragons were gathered. They sat quietly, their glowing scales dimmed but still shining faintly. Some stretched their wings. Others rested their heads on their tails. The air was filled with a gentle heat that touched the skin and eased the tension in the room. Commander Reese stepped forward, eyes wide. What are they? Mira, the leader, rose gracefully. Her silver scales caught the light, creating a shimmering halo around her. She spoke calmly, her voice coming from the small device on her chest. We are Skyborn. We once guarded the Skyborn path, a network of hidden wormholes connecting distant parts of the galaxy. We were created to protect knowledge and life, not to destroy. Tara moved closer, lowering her scanner. Why did you hide? Mira looked at Yulin before answering. Because war hunted us. We refused to fight. We were exiled, scattered across space. We came here seeking shelter, not battle. Yulin nodded. They saved my life during the cold wave. Without their heat, the station would have frozen. Reese narrowed her eyes. This changes everything. You expect us to believe that these creatures are peaceful? Mira's eyes glowed softly. Peace is our choice. We have no weapons of war here. Only knowledge. Yulin stepped forward, holding a small data core. This contains maps of the Skyborn path. If you use this knowledge wisely, humanity can travel farther and faster than ever before. The officers exchanged glances. The room was silent except for the soft hum of the reactor's shield. Tara smiled. Gently, this could change everything for Earth. We need to protect them. Reese looked at Tara, then at Yulin and Mira. Finally, she spoke. We will report this to Earth Command. For now, this station is under our control. But I promise, we will not harm your guests. Mira bowed her head. Thank you. Yulin felt a wave of relief. The future was uncertain, but at least they had a chance later. As the Earth team began setting up their equipment, Mira pulled Yulin aside. Why did you trust them? She asked. Yulin looked up at the stars visible through the station's observation window. Because I believe humanity can be better. Because I believe we can choose peace, even when fear tells us to fight. Mira smiled softly. Then you are truly an anchor spirit. Yulin laughed. I'm just a man who lived long alone. She took his hand gently. Now, you will never be alone again. The day the Earth shuttle landed near Lunar Station, Theta felt like the beginning of a new world. Dust rose in soft clouds as the ship's legs touched the moon's surface. Yulin stood outside, his heart beating fast. The sky was black, the stars cold and bright. 6 soldiers stepped out, their suits heavy and shining under the harsh light. Their leader, Commander Reese, walked beside a young woman named Tara. They looked alert but cautious. Yulin greeted them with a calm voice. Welcome to Theta Station. I'm Yulin. Commander Reese nodded. We are here to inspect the station and investigate recent signals. Energy spikes and unknown life forms were reported. Yulin led them inside. The station was quiet but clean. The greenhouse still grew small plants. The mining drones hummed softly in their docks. But the soldiers were focused on scanning everything with their devices. Reese's eyes were sharp. What caused the power surge 3 days ago? Yulin paused. We had a cold wave. Some systems drained more power to keep warm. Tara stepped closer to the corridor leading to the garage. We detected unusual heat near the reactor shield chamber. Yulin hesitated. That area has extra heating systems. Reese frowned. We need to check. Yulin nodded and led the team down the hallway. The door to the reactor shield chamber was heavy, protected by thick layers of metal and radiation shields. He keyed in the code to open it and sighed. The dragons waited. Their glowing scales pulsed softly as they watched the newcomers. Reese's hand moved to her radio. Hold, no weapons drawn. The soldiers lowered their scanners, eyes wide with surprise. Mira, the silver-scaled leader, stepped forward. "We come in peace." Yulin felt a quiet pride. His old loneliness was gone. These creatures, once strangers, were now allies. Terra looked around, her face softening. "I never thought I'd see dragons in space." Mira smiled gently. "We are more than stories. We are hope." The soldiers lowered their weapons. Reese spoke into her radio. "Situation stable. No hostility. Preparing to begin joint research." Yulin shook hands with Terra. "Thank you for listening." She smiled. "Thank you for trusting us." The Skyborn and humans began working together. Data was shared, repairs made, plans formed. Yulin stood by a window, watching the dragons fly inside the large station bay. Their wings stretched wide in the low gravity, graceful and free. For the first time in years, he felt hope shine brighter than the cold stars outside. The days after the arrival of the Earth team were filled with change. Lunar Station Theta became a place where the worlds met. Humans and Skyborn worked side by side. Old fears slowly faded as new bonds grew. Yulin felt a strange warmth inside. After years of silence, the station was alive again. The dragons soared freely in the large bay, their wings catching the soft artificial light. They moved with grace. No longer strangers, but friends. Mira sat beside Yulin one evening as he watched the stars through the observation window. "The sky feels closer now," Yulin said quietly. Mira smiled. "It is because we share it." News of the Skyborn spread quickly on Earth. Scientists, diplomats, and explorers wanted to learn about the ancient Skyborn path. The knowledge promised faster travel, new alliances, and a chance to unite the scattered stars. Jalen became the station's guide and guardian. He helped teach Earth crews about the dragon's ways. He told stories of survival, peace, and hope. One night, after a long day of meetings, Yulin walked outside the station. The moon's surface was quiet and still. Suddenly, 10 shapes appeared in the sky above him. The Skyborn, flying in formation. Their wings caught the light from the distant sun, shining like a new constellation. Yulin smiled. For the first time, he felt a true home. The loneliness of the past was gone. A new flame burned in the stars.